Hey, my people, they say clear conscience fears no accusation. Omo, Wike don dey run kitikiti, don dey run katakata o. Ever since Sowore come expose in secret. Omo, guys, make una come hear another one. See secret just dey burst out here and there, and him kuma e say e no go rest. Na to dey defend himself like wetin I no know, and they go continue to dey drag her like I pass my neighbor generator. Make una hear this one together o. Make una know say nothing wey dey hidden under the sun. In as much as say God exists, secret must surely surface. Make we hear am, guys.
Hello everyone. Very be like say Wike don buy market. Showore dey drag am like small gen. A lot of revelations that are coming out. Most of these things, they are out there, people report them, but when you're seeing them being brought out with facts, and Wike has been running up and down, talking up and down, I don't even know what is wrong with that man. You want to do your boy Abuja, fine. You got your boy job. You got your FCT minister. Focus on it. No, Wike want to show that he's the one that has mouth, he can talk, he can whatever, where politicians are afraid to enter. Wike, we want to tell us that he can enter. Oga has forgotten that this is Abuja. It is not a river state where you are Alpha and Omega. You will do any kind of thing anyhow. In short, this whole matter between Wike and Showore, how do I even put it? When they say over Sabi, I want to say I be loyal slave. That's just the issue. Wike, they said Tinubu is a criminal. Showore said Tinubu is a criminal. Now they now came DSS, GFS. Those ones don't even have job in the first place. Three terrorists are there making mouth, telling us all sorts of things.
As you are aware from the beginning, we knew that there was another voyage and waste of state resources. It was desperation on the part of the DSS to file charges where no offense was committed. And you saw that with what the lawyer to Meta said, that they have looked at the charges, nothing even related to an offense affecting Meta, that's Facebook. And I think the same thing applies to Twitter, and of course, it applies to me. Because there was no disclosure of any offense. If you see the charges they served me, they have one page of proof of evidence. And that was a picture, a still picture they grabbed, a screenshot from whatever they get of Tinubu standing in front. That's not proof of evidence. They did not even, I don't want to teach them what to do, because I know they will still come and fumble again next time. Then the most important thing that ought to have been done, which was to serve me, they refused to serve me. They were hoping that they come and ambush me in the court. They did not want to serve me because they are afraid that I will prepare for trial.
I decided to come.
But I decided to come because even cases that don't concern me, I come to this court to attend to them. So, what is important, Nigerians, is that our focus on how to fix this country is our inalienable rights, and it's sacrosanct. In the process of doing that, we will not spare anybody, because we are 200 million people, and we deserve good governance, we deserve attention, we deserve accountability, transparency, we deserve the basic minimum standards of democracy and tenets, one of which is freedom of speech. You cannot litigate against us in any court or criminalize it. Even the man, the drunkard in the FCT, nice of Wike, who said an American has never called Trump a criminal, was presented with over 1,000 videos. The DSS claims that it's their job to protect the president. It's their job to protect him, but it's not their job to police free speech in Nigeria. That one is not. The DSS takes its inspiration from the Secret Service in the US, which exclusively protects the president of the US. The Secret Service has never filed a lawsuit against an American who said Trump is this or that, because they use America. That's what I'm using. But let's even concede without admitting that they don't do it in America, we can do it here. Because Americans don't have our type of problems.
Exactly.
Americans have schools, they have functioning hospitals, they have great jobs, there's no unemployment. So Americans can decide to be complacent about calling out their leaders. We haven't gotten to where America was in 1900. So our own circumstances are different. And we must approach it with the tenacity and the ferocity that is required to ensure that those who claim to be our leaders, whether they rig themselves into office or they seize power, we hold them to account. And I'm saying this, that even under the military, when the military will seize power through a martial music, we confronted them, even though we didn't appoint or elect them. So how much more the so-called civilian regimes in the country who supposedly were elected by a constitution that they uphold all the time, even though I don't believe in that constitution. But that's all they have for now. So I just want to make it very clear, and it's very important for all of you, particularly in the media, that no offense has been committed, and the trial could not continue today because there is no way you can prosecute an offense that does not exist. They disgracefully brought the DPP of the Federation to come and personally oversee this case. The reason why he came is they forced him here. That's why he was unprepared. He did not know that I have not been served, because I think he was arrested and bundled here. Because I found out in their initial charge that they published in the public that he refused to sign off on the charges. He was not consulted. But the DSS had to force him to come here because they know me since 2019. Their lawyers cannot face me. So they have brought the DPP, and the DPP must learn a hard way.
Exactly.
That's the rule.
Exactly.
Yes.
From this whole concept now.
Yes.
Let's go into some advisor.
Yes.
And look at what's the reaction you take now?
I reacted last night, and let me send my condolences to her family and our co-workers. I knew, even without having been told, that she's a victim of Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria happened to her. I was reading on my way here, I've not confirmed, that they robbed every flat in that building. They called the police. Police did not show up until after she had jumped out of her window, gotten injured, and had no emergency support. She was found alive by the police, but when she asked to be taken to the hospital, the police said they had no fuel in their car. Maybe, if the police had not allowed their car to be stolen by thieves, maybe that car could have helped her to get to the hospital. Who knows?
Exactly true.
So there's a fundamental problem here, people. We are in trouble. And her own tragedy is just symptomatic of that problem. But I feel so bad for her. I feel bad for her that today maybe I would have visited her family, but I have to be in court. So again, my condolences. But Nigeria happened to her. Nigeria has been doing people dirty everywhere. And our own case came to the surface because she's a member of the elite class. As we are speaking, they are killing people in droves in Kwara State. Those ones don't even hear from the police or army. They have been left on their own. The people of Zamfara have been left to their fate. People of Kaduna have been left to their fate. Katsina left to their Benue left to their fate. Kidnappers are riding roughshod. Because, again, your leaders have more interest in trivial things than substance. The people that should be prosecuted by the DPP are the people who are engaging in banditry and terrorism. But the DPP will probably be one of the people meeting with them in Zamfara and taking selfies with them. That's what they do with bandits. If I were to be a dangerous, terroristic person, they will come and negotiate with me.
Yes.
They won't bring me to court. So that's...
Please, let's correct this impression, because I know that some people will now go and my name is Maxwell, I'm a part of the Lego team. Let's put the record straight. I know that small time some people will now write that So Showore is running away from being arraigned. No, the law is clear. The law says that for you to arraign somebody, you must serve the person with a charge or charges, and the person has 3 days. That is abject. Then on the Constitution section, that is an adequate time and facility for him to put himself to order. That one is on that. Then secondly, and we also want to advise Mr. President, you can't continue like this, because you have arraigned preferred charges against Showore simply because he called your name. You, Mr. President, have you forgotten I and you called Jonathan name during the time of Occupy Nigeria? They are in Lagos. We carried Jonathan coffin, and Jonathan never arrested any of us. Jonathan never preferred charge against any of us. Why should your own be different? I'm highly disappointed. I don't know those who are advising you. Please, as a matter of urgency, discontinue this charge and face what is facing you. This is a distraction, and you cannot distract us. We are following you. We must criticize you. Go to the villages and see how people are mocking you. The other disaster that died, that called himself president, he died and Nigerians were jubilating. I'm talking about President Muhammad Buhari. Nigerians were jubilating. What shall you be remembered for? That you asked DPP to come and prosecute a funny charge against Showore. Mr. President, why didn't you go for civil litigation? Why didn't you file action for defamation and claim millions? Is Showore under civil immunity? So the point you are making is that please terminate, withdraw these charges, and concentrate in ruling Nigeria.
I just want to correct one quick thing. You said you are following him. I'm not following him.
I'm following his policies.
I'm not following his policies. I don't follow his footsteps.
No, not his footsteps. Not his footsteps. I said we are following him. Whatever the guy got it from. If you go outside and lie, we'll challenge it.
Yeah. But the other part is that 2 things. If this charge proceeds after arraignment, the president must be willing to come as my witness. Yes, I'm not going to use God as my witness. I want to use him as my witness, that my statements are correct. Even if you go the civil route, truth is a justification. I will justify everything I've said about anybody who is in position of authority in Nigeria. I've been around long enough to be able to say this confidently. So, guys, thank you so much. We still have 2 other pending cases.
Nyesom Wike and his family of buying a multi-million-dollar property in Florida, United States, with suspected looted funds. This has raised some dust in Rivers State, where Wike was governor for 8 years before being appointed to his current position, with some indigents calling for a probe. BPTV correspondent Desmond Anyang completes the story.
Of Port Harcourt residents who spoke to VOP TV said Wike, who earns an estimated annual salary of about 7.5 million naira as a public servant, cannot afford to buy such properties if not with looted money.
I have never taken His Excellency, the former governor of Rivers State, serious for any time. And that's because he has a history, as to the best of my knowledge, of saying different things on different subjects just as it suits him. I cannot hold him on any statement that he has said that he has been consistent with. To that extent, I always take his responses to issues as laughable. Yes, it's a field day for him because we're in a country and indeed under a leadership that is non-accountable. We have state institutions that are only interested in Yahoo boys and petty thieves, and not serious state resource miners. While I may not have the entire facts, the allegations are very, very heavy, and his statement does not answer for them, as it were. It's like when he told us that he bought a Rolls Royce, and when he was pushed a little by the channels interviewer, he said his father was a general manager of many companies. I never knew his father to be any general manager. At least by God's grace, some of us know his father. I knew him in Rivers State as a student. So it's funny when he says his father was a general manager without telling us the companies his father was a general manager in that allowed him and perhaps his siblings to amass, or perhaps he was the only one among his siblings that were able to amass that much of wealth through his father's super wealth. But that's Nigeria for us. Nobody questions. Even our legal system is funny. We're one of the only countries where you find a legal system that says that it is he who accuses that should prove. Otherwise, even a typical good thief should be freed. Elsewhere, where things are working, the reverse is the case. It is he who owns a wealth that explains how he made his wealth. But in Nigeria, it is the other way. He who thinks that one has wealth in abnormal way should prove how that wealth is abnormal. So that itself gives you a framework to allow for looters and miners, as it were, of public fund. But be that as it may, if we have institutions, both his statement and the allegation are worth investigating.
So if the president is serious about fighting corruption, this is a matter that they should take. We should hear a statement from the president. If a minister in your administration is being accused of money laundering, indirectly it touches on you. It touches on the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And these are things his handlers should be telling him. As for the FCT minister, I also expect him to come clean, although he has made statements about his wife's in-laws and all of that. We cannot begrudge him because we don't have the facts. But what we are saying is there should be open and transparent investigation into those allegations. So that if it is just a Showore that is just making wild allegations, Showore will also be held to account under the relevant laws of the country. So it is important that they open an investigation into that matter. Then an investigation should also mean that we should begin to ask politicians to account for how they make their monies to build such expensive properties. We should begin to, when we see such expensive properties, we should begin to, as citizens, we should begin to also interrogate. What does this person do outside politics? What business does he do? What job does he do? Yes, some of them are lawyers, some of them are engineers, but are they practicing engineers? Are they practicing lawyers? How many years have they even practiced to give them such stupendous wealth? So these are the things we should interrogate.
They said the FCT minister, Wike, allegedly used his wife, children, and in-laws to acquire properties worth millions of dollars in Winter Springs, Florida. The people called on anti-graft agencies in Nigeria and the United States of America to carry out a thorough investigation into the allegation against the FCT minister.
If it's his in-laws, who are they? How did they come by such assets? When did they buy the assets? How did they buy the asset? And when did they do the transfer? There are questions that a serious-minded investigating institution should be able to unravel.
We can come in to say the wife of the parents. I think they should do and spell it out in the US. They should spell it out there. And then we will get the feedback. It's an accusation, a direct accusation of money laundering and using his wife and children's name. And before now, they've accused him too of land grabbing in Abuja, using his children, and they try to turn it because it's Nigeria. But the Showore has gone extra mile to write to the attorney. No, they should go and defend it.
Most residents of the state refuse to talk about what they know of the FCT minister and family for fear of intimidation and witch hunting. The people noted countries like the United States of America, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia of aiding and abetting corrupt politicians in Nigeria, stressing that these countries have become a safe haven for Nigerian corrupt public officials. In Port Harcourt, Desmond Anyanwu, EOP TV.
Desmond, thank you. Well, let's bring it back to Lagos State, where government has begun demolishing what is...
Someone must challenge you. Look, if I have a company that is earning that, I won't pay that money. And if you come after me, I will fight your government hands on. Someone needs to come out and fight you because you are not behaving like you are a god, and you are not God. You are just one illegitimate president. And someone needs to tell you the truth. You impostor in Aso Rock. This is getting too much. All of you and that miserable Gospel Akpabio led Senate. All of you have deliberated on this bill and even is proposing it. You all are going mad. You need to visit psychiatric hospital for checkup. For one, someone needs to challenge. This recklessness is becoming too much. Nigeria belongs to all of us. We cannot fold our hands and watch a few of you turn this country to something else. It will not stand. It will not stand. It is not acceptable, this 20% tax. This is total madness, and you all need to visit psychiatric hospital for checkup. It's getting too much. Everything, you are just choking Nigeria from all corners. Just look at how people are committing suicide on a daily basis. The frustration is becoming too much. And all you think of is how to make money, how to exploit the people. Nigerians, enough is enough. We must begin to challenge the status quo. This is not acceptable, and it should not be acceptable. This 20% tax cannot stand, and it should not stand. We should not accept it. And I want to urge you, if you came across this post, do me a favor. You see, most of these challenges facing this nation as it is now, I did a music project where I summarized them all. And it is called Ole for Naija. Just do me a favor. Go to your favorite streaming platform. Search Ole for Naija. Listen to this music project. You can come back to my comment section. Come and tell me if you love what you heard or not. Or you can search it by my name, Fortified Virgin Mark Daroged. Take note, the fortified is FORTIFIID. Fortified Virgin Mark Daroged. Ole for Naija by Fortified Virgin Mark Daroged. Go and listen to this music project. Share, download, like, take my message to whom it may concern. Enough of the total madness in Nigeria. 20% tax for some high income companies that have been proposed will not stand. It cannot stand, and we should not accept it. I am Fortified Virgin Mark Daroged. A virgin Nigeria is possible.
Now, Omoyele show record the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a criminal, and the DSS provoke, say, make Sowore delete that tweet. In fact, they didn't even talk to Sowore direct. They talked to X, which is formerly known as Twitter. They called Twitter direct. Tell them, make they deactivate Sowore's account. But Twitter said, no, we stand for free speech and also freedom of expression. We don't do that. Now, so DSS provoke. Now, if you don't know what has been happening between Sowore, DSS, and the federal government of Nigeria, which is Tinubu now, let me give you summary and the potential danger in it. Wait, let me explain. But before I explain, please, this is time to share this video. Click the follow button and also like it so that it can reach more people and you see more video from me. Let us continue. Now, let me take it from the beginning on how this whole issue started. On 28th of August 2025, the president of Nigeria went to Brazil, where he made a statement stating that since he took over as the Nigerian president, say crime has reduced, corruption has reduced, and a lot of that. In fact, here is the video.
The reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption.
So after this video made it on social media, now so Sowore provoked. Sowore said, you know the way Sowore they do now, he no really they fear anybody, papa. Now so Sowore go right. This criminal official bat, he tag Tinubu, he no fear, he tag him direct. He say actually went to Brazil to state that there's no more corruption under his regime in Nigeria. What audacity to lie shamelessly. He said Tinubu lie shamelessly. He call him. You see that statement? Criminal. He call a sitting president criminal and also shamelessly. na invest the DSS, the Department of State Security, na so they vex. They wrote a letter, this letter where you see, they wrote a letter, a comprehensive letter with letterhead and everything. They sent to X, which is Twitter, the owners of the platform where Sowore made that statement. They said they should deactivate Sowore's account, that Sowore's statement is a security threat, national security threat to the government and all that. But then X reached out to Sowore that how far can you delete the post or not? Sowore said no, it is his fundamental human rights and it's also entitled to his free speech and freedom of expression. Anyway, X said, they went back to DSS and said, no, we cannot deactivate his account. This platform X, which is Twitter, will stand for free speech and freedom of expression. Now, remember, during the time of Buhari's regime, when they banned Twitter, it was because Buhari tweeted something that Twitter deleted that prompted them banning Twitter then. Remember, that time Elon Musk never buy Twitter, so the freedom of speech then was restricted. Now, in Twitter now, which is X, you can say anything, you know, as long as it's still within your range of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So that is why now the X app say they no go deleting your account, they no go deactivating your account. So now, so DSS still vest. The Congo rights Meta, the owners of Facebook, because Sowore made the tweet too on Facebook. They write Meta too to deactivate Sowore's account on Facebook. Anyway, Meta never answered them too. But then that did not stop there. Sowore now made another statement stating that as long as they keep going around trying to silence him, that he will keep talking. Some lawyers in Nigeria also petitioned the DSS that why will you want to stop freedom of expression and freedom of speech in Nigeria? If you must stop anybody, say no be Sowore. Say Sowore, the more you try to stop Sowore, the more Sowore go dey talk. Anyway, as DSS, which is the Department of State Security of Nigeria, as they don't see, say they cannot get those platforms to deactivate Sowore's account. So they now wrote Sowore direct. They say, we'll give you 1 week, 7 days to drop those accounts, or else we will take all legal proceeding or legal action against you. Say they go start Nigerian constitution, they go start Nigerian law, anywhere they feel find waiting, they go take deal with Sowore, say they go do am. But anyway, Sowore tell them, say bring it up. This is not the first time I'm dealing with you people. I've taken you people to court before. I don't win now. Say in ready for anything they need to bring. Sowore say mbakwa. Man, delete this post. Say, I will never delete this post. Do your worst. As I'm talking to you now, the post is still on Sowore's page. Now, how will this Sowore's social media issue with DSS and the federal government will affect you as a Nigerian citizen using social media in Nigeria? Now, let me take your mind back. On 20th of August 2025, the federal government of Nigeria, they admitted of deleting 13 million social media accounts. They said they did it. So for some of you that came on last video that I said that the federal government have influence on your social media algorithm and all that, and I said I lie. Federal government admitted that they deleted 13 million social media accounts. So all of you will lose your account. Social media, they deleted it. According to them, they deleted those accounts that post false information, fake news, and also promote any information that can cause a national chaos. So they detected them and deleted all of them. Meaning, say the federal government can look your accounts like this, say they don't like waiting this one they do, they will delete them. In the same 20th of August, the federal government also admitted that they deleted 59 million posts from social media accounts wey go cause national security issue. So if you made a post and you realize that it dropped, let me tell you now, federal government remove am. So for some of you that keep arguing on social media that, oh, the federal government does not have, they have control of what you post. They can decide that they can go viral or not. They can also delete it. So if the federal government don't like what you post, they can delete it. So, and they did it and they admitted that they did it. Now, how would Sowore issue with DSS affect you and I? Let me tell you, if care is not taken before 2027 general election, if everybody should be too vocal about the government and whatever is happening on social media, let me tell you, the Nigerian government might restrict access to social media, or they might reform the social media, or they might even ban it. Now, what is currently happening right now, which they've done already, is to restrict political posts. I'm not even sure whether you go see this post what I make right now, whether you go see this video, but if you see it, glory to God. But what I'm saying that any post or any content addressing the government or reaching the government or talking about the government might not go viral again. In fact, it's not even going viral again because that has been taken care of by the government. So tell me, what else have you noticed that the government is trying to restrict on social media? Remember, the cybercrime has been passed. More they come. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section. Please, I'll beg you. Remember to share this video and follow me. But before you do that, please do not forget.
I beg Mona go rescue Eniola Badmosu. Mona go rescue her for Twitter and Instagram. They want cooker. They want finisher for that side. The bashing no be here. The bashing no be here. Eniola Badmosu post picture. She said she was privileged to speak at this hunger United Nations General Assembly where they go just now. When Netanyahu for they speak, people waka come out. When Donald Trump gets speech, when our vice president speak, I don't know the virtue they say they do. And the last Badmosu say she herself was allowed to speak. Until people look the surrounding of where she takes snap the picture where they can start to ask her some valid questions. Grateful to speak at hunger on innovation, gender inclusion, and partnerships for a sustainable energy future. So, Eniola Badmosu, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. So you went to speak at hunger. Wow. Wow. So you spoke. Proud of you. Proud of you. I'm so proud to have you as a Nigerian. Why sockets? Why they plug charger for your back? Your phone off. Okay, your phone off when you want to speak because maybe they be charger first. No, because I'm trying to understand why they put your podium for one T junction that be in a tiny corner for the room. That tight space. And why is there a Nigerian flag at hunger? Ah, Eniola. Man, warn you. Not trying nonsense again, no. Not trying nonsense again. If you want to even bobo us, at least work hard. Give us a story that is believable. Because with the year now, say, according to some people who don't go, I never knew New York before. They say that place where you there, so say that Nigerian embassy for New York. Now you call here, they tell us say that hunger, you go speak. What do you know that you want to speak about that hunger? Apart from campaigning for a government that you have no idea what they want to do, so that they can put you in the government. What else do you know? Then when the government is going on all these kind of trips, they put your name as part of delegates, and then you get free visa. What else do you know? God, they make me they think my life, say, and your lab don't face me, they speak for international program. Because if they drop me and you, say me we speak about the topic. Why you go to talk like SS2, GS2A, me I go to speak like senior prefect. I use the first me start to speak for international program. No. But please, even if you will bobo us, give us a believable story. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, a plane carried millions of dollars flew to South Africa. South Africa government could seize the plane. When they find out the money and Nigerian money, the presidency said we wanted to use to buy weapons from the black market because foreign countries will not sell us weapons. We know that it's a lie, but the story was Bible. It was believable. What are we saying? If you must calm us, come up with put some more hard work. Come up with gist. We go work. Even a blind man knows that this picture you posted here cannot be hunger. Well, it depends on the kind of hunger. Maybe now that one where they take the cook soup, that one where flavor will sing for hunger, sweetie, plenty, sweetie, complete blend of flavor. Now, maybe now that one. Not be our United Nations General Assembly. Not be there you go speak. Don't they embarrass yourself. If you see the way they drag them for Twitter, they want cook and shop. They want finisher for that side. Why will you come and tell Nigerians this kind of nonsense? Even if 90% of us no go ask questions, the 10% will go ask questions. We ginger the other 90% to notice that you have said nonsense. Sometimes, may your team they put hard work before now come and give Nigeria.
Many of APC or President Tinubu's online propagandists have been putting the positive spin on Tinubu's presidency performances. And they say Tinubu is doing this, Tinubu is doing that. And let me pray for you. Irú ìlọsíwájú tí Tinubu ń gbé bá Nàìjíríà. Irú ẹni kọ́ lọ́hùn kó gbé bá life gbogbo yín ní kọ̀ọ̀kan. Especially ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá, tẹ́ bá ti rí oúnjẹ díẹ̀ báyìí, tẹ́ bá ti jẹun díẹ̀ báyìí, á gbàgbé gbogbo wàhálà ilé ayé wa. Tinubu ń ṣe dáadáa. When Tinubu came to power, kó tó gbé bàbá jẹ́jẹ́ wá, 1 pound was 240 naira. Ìgbà tí Tinubu ti bàbá jẹ́jẹ́ wọlé, £1 rose to 900 naira. Tinubu ṣe dáadáa nìyẹn o. When Tinubu came into power, that 900 naira now turned to 2,100. Now, he now brought it back. Gẹ́rẹ́ ó ti dá 2,000 to £1 nísìn. Ẹni Tinubu ṣe dáadáa, eru dáadáa yẹn ni kọ́lọ̀ kó ṣe nu life gbogbo yín. Kí Tinubu tó dórí oyè, àwa máa ń ra, àwa léèyàn tá ń bọ́ púpọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà tó ń wálé mi, tá ń bọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí oníṣẹ̀ǹṣe. Àpò ìrẹsì nígbà tí Tinubu máa gbé bàbá jẹ́jẹ́ wọrí oyè was 7,000 naira. Ìgbà tí bàbá jẹ́jẹ́ máa kúrò ń bẹ̀, àpò ìrẹsì ó ti runs to 28, 29, 32,000 naira. Tinubu débẹ̀, immediately tí Tinubu débẹ̀, rice jumped to 122,000 naira. Ó ń wálẹ̀ nísìn ó ti dàbí 60 something. Àníṣe irú ìrètí Tinubu ń ṣe ní Nàìjíríà yẹn ní kọ́lọ̀ kó ṣe nínú ayé gbogbo yín. Àbóyè yín. Before Tinubu came to power, we had peace. Nígbà tí wọ́n sọ wípé we will make this government ungovernable because they don't want a Christian. They don't want a Southeast or South, whatever they call them. They don't want them in power. They make the government become ungovernable. Boko Haram wọlé all over Nigeria. Abi? Up to today, we have not been able to resolve it. Now, Tinubu went ahead and openly hosted these people. We saw them, they brought weapons that Nigerian government does not have. They said they made a deal with them. That deal now has now led to the invasion of part of Kwara State, fulfilling their intentional purpose of making sure they conquer Ilorin, just like the northern leader said. Àníṣe irú ìlọsíwájú tí Tinubu mú wá sí Nàìjíríà yìí, irú ìlọsíwájú yẹn ni k'Ọlọ́run kó jẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú life ìkọ̀ọ̀kan nínú yín. You are saying Tinubu is doing this, Tinubu is doing that. Democracy without opposition is not democracy, it's authoritarian. Passive authoritarian. Tinubu came sending his boys that anybody in Unitobati Dano, Koshamabo, we will forgive them. That is the policy of APC. You are forgiven regardless of what you have done. That is why we have corruption now springing out of contest. And you say Tinubu is doing great. That type of greatness, Tinubu in Nigeria, may the Lord Almighty do the same type of great thing in your lives. Anywhere that there is no APC, Tinubu is doing everything to undermine the government of that area. Go and see what is happening in Osun. They brought soldiers last week to be shooting at the local council for people not to enter. You say Tinubu is doing right. Tinubu is doing right for his family. Tinubu is doing right for all the APC. Tinubu said they have paid 22 million Nigerians. We said if you have taken money from this government, come out and tell us. We are suffering. Any progress that Tinubu is making that does not affect people's food, no, that's not good enough. Tinubu is doing great. It is the people in diaspora, while and sustain Nigeria, the politicians are undermining the progress of the country with corruption. Don't say Tinubu is doing great. Tinubu is trying to amend the catastrophic activities that they have put on us. Tomorrow is October the 1st. We are to be celebrating, but there is nothing to celebrate because when it be bad day or what be bad day, say I afford you ko le ri na di ti o le gboro. Enu ofo le yan fi celebrate ni, but we will be commemorating it. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbààgbà ìlú ẹ gbé fry pan yín lọ́la. I don't want people to go there because America itself is attacking some people. So if they attack you, nobody is going to make noise or fight for you. Carry your fry pan and protest with your fry pan. Emma lu fry pan. Ama doleti Tinubu at the family. He has done one thing, although that is different from the rest. The student loan is a big deal. That is the only one thing that he has done differently from the rest of the people, which all Nigerians will enjoy. But to say that Tinubu is performing well, or taxes upon taxes that is not affecting people's life, destroying people's livelihood in Lagos and everywhere there is PPC government, destroying the structures of opponents, that is not how they do democracy. Tinubu is doing great, but great enough to amend the things that they caused on us. October 1, protest in your house with fry pan.
Provides an opportunity to acknowledge the work by the judiciary in the last year, while also looking forward to the challenges faced in the period under review, as well as opportunities that lie ahead. The opening of the legal year is consequently more than a ceremonial occasion. It is a moment when we, as officers of the law, pause to reaffirm our dedication to upholding justice, ensuring the rule of law, and protecting the rights and freedoms of all Nigerians. The judiciary is, after all, the bedrock of our democracy, and it is through the work we do here that justice finds expression in the everyday lives of our citizens. Upon assumption of office as Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord Honorable Justice Motogo Kudisiwen, your Lordship made it clear that the court's urgent task was restoring public confidence in the judiciary. Thus, your Lordship has consistently reminded judges of their sacred oath. Addressing newly appointed judges recently, your Lordship ordered thus: let your judgments be reasoned, impartial and courageous. The judiciary, as the final arbiter of justice, depends on the credibility of its officers. Each of you now bears a share of that institutional burden and of that honor. We know the many structural reforms undertaken by the CJN upon assumption of office. I'll mention a few. The embrace of technology as a tool for transparency and efficiency. The merging of the rules of court. The merging of the court's records processing unit into a single unit. Ensuring better case management and basically reducing cases of missing files. And the creation of central information unit to give lawyers and litigants real-time access to case information. Highly commendable is the scrapping of the paper-based and cumbersome enrollment of new lawyers and placing it with a digitized process. Thus, details of new wills are now uploaded online, with candidates completing enrollment digitally and receiving their enrollment numbers electronically. Postality will always praise the new NJC transparency policy, which requires that all judicial appointment memoranda will now be published at the initial stage as part of the comprehensive reforms in the judicial appointment process. Despite these efforts, more work needs to be done about changing the negative perception of the judiciary, which is best captured in the words of His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, in his speech at the opening ceremony of the Nigerian Bar Association Annual General Conference in Enugu, when he warned that today justice is increasingly becoming a purchasable commodity, and the poor are becoming victims of this kind of justice, while the rich commit all manner of crime and walk scot-free, he said. The Sultan's speech once more reminds us that perception is greater than reality, and that with reality there is not much room to maneuver. With perception, we can exaggerate or modify according to the need. The Sultan's statement that the rich evade accountability while the integrity of the judicial system is being undermined by corruption and inequality once more reminds us that perception is very important. And as we always say, now public confidence in the judiciary may have plummeted, but we can reverse many of the negative perceptions in this legal year. The computerization of litigation process, including electronic recording of court proceedings in all superior courts of record, is a measure that must be bettered with utmost urgency. Nigerians, particularly those from rural or marginalized communities, should be able to access the justice system at very little cost. The various rules of court must be amended to provide for e-filing, virtual hearing, and speedy dispensation of cases. My lords, it's now 26 years since we returned to democratic rule. In those times, our democracy has been tried in various ways. I recall the promptness with which this honorable court resolved the question whether the decision of Atiku Abubakar to run for vice president after winning the governorship election in Adamawa State entitled INEC to conduct fresh elections, or in the circumstance, allow for the swearing in of his running mate, Boni Haruna, as governor. This court was also ready to resolve the question whether a president could remove a sitting vice president merely because he had decamped from the president's political party. It interests us to note that the case, reported as AG Federation and Abubakar citation supplied, started in the Court of Appeal via an originating summons filed on January 4, 2007, on February 7, 2007. On February 7, the matter was heard and judgment delivered by the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court was determined on April 20, 2007. The judicial was hailed for coming to the rescue. Indeed, Nigerians and the international community praised the judiciary as the bastion of the rule of law. It was widely celebrated as the last hope of the common man. Nigerians want to see this reflected in all issues confronting our democracy. This court successfully handled over 1,000 pre- and post-election cases within 60 days on the filing of the notice of appeal. In a speech by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCF filed, declaring the end of the state of emergency in Rivers State, the President said that there were no less than 40 cases instituted before the various courts, including this court, challenging the declaration of emergency. It is really troubling that only one of the cases was decided before the expiration of the state of emergency. The one initiated before this court does not have a hearing date, even after the expiration of the 6 months period. The last time a state of emergency was declared in Plateau State, it took this court more than 2 years to decide the matter. The judgment is reported as Plateau State and Attorney General Federation citation supplied. At the time of the judgment, the people of Plateau State had forgotten that a state of emergency was ever declared. This is in spite of the fact that by the court's record, the case was filed on 24 June 2004, about 36 days after the declaration of the state of emergency in the state. And justice judgment was only rendered on January 2006. What is more disturbing is that the Supreme Court missed the opportunity of spelling out when the president can declare a state of emergency and the extent to which the declaration will affect democratic governance in the affected states. Nigerians really wanted this honorable court to determine whether the president, in the exercise of the powers under Section 305 of the Constitution, can dismantle democratic structures in the state by suspending the governor, deputy governor, and members of the House of Assembly. If, for example, the court subsequently answered this question in the negative, of what benefit will it be to the people if the decision comes after the state of emergency has been lacked by a fraction of time? Delay in deciding such weighty constitutional matters risks sending the wrong signal that the judiciary is indifferent to issues that affect governance at its most fundamental levels. A prompt determination would have clarified the law, reinforced federalism, and ensure that the wheels of government and the grassroots continue to run without hindrance. My humbly note, my lords, that both the cases of Adegbero and AG Federation and Williams and Magic Odumi, number 2, citation supplied, which border on the exercise of powers under the State of Emergency Act of 1962, were decided during the period of the declaration of the state of emergency. As the saying goes, justice delayed is justice denied. Clause 40 of the Magna Carta of 1215 states this principle as follows: to no one will we sell, to no one will we deny or delay justice, or delay the right of justice. Where there is delay in legal process, it harms the victims and undermines the accountability, thereby effectively denying justice. The NBA urges this honorable court with greatest respect to make a mark in history, by ensuring that matters of urgent national importance are not left in limbo. Swift and decisive justice reinforces the court's role as a stabilizing anchor of our democracy. My equally use this opportunity to call on this honorable court to fix a special session for the hearing of appeals to the court against decisions of the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee, as issues of discipline appears not to be receiving the priority attention it deserves, as well as clear the confusion as to whether appeals can lie directly from this court from the decisions of the LPDC. This call has become pertinent in the light of recent decisions by this court declining the jurisdiction and referring parties to a non-existent appeals committee of the body of benchers. We thought this matter had been laid to rest by the decision of this honorable court in Obia Jolongwami to an NBA, decided in 2019, citation supply, where this court held by Kuman Bayan Akas JSC retired that any direction given by the disciplinary committee against a legal practitioner invariably is challenged at the Supreme Court, and this is the rationale for excluding the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Justice of the Supreme Court from being members of the disciplinary committee. And the court went on in that case to acknowledge that Mohammed Adoki, as Attorney General of the Federation, had regazetted and incorporated the provisions of the Legal Practitioners Amendment Decree of 1994, which abolished the Appeals Committee of the Body of Benchers and gave direct right of appeal to the Supreme Court. My Lord, a look at the recent shortlist of candidates for appointment to the Federal High Court bench shows that majority, and by estimation about 80%, of the names are either staff of various judiciaries, most likely registrars, legal advisors, or officials from government agencies. There is a dearth of private legal practitioners in this list, as well as many lists that come up for consideration in recent times. This seems to be a pattern which is not limited to the Federal High Court. There seems to be a pattern. It appears to be a new trend that private legal practitioners are now deemed less worthy of appointment to the bench. While we do not suggest that judiciary staff, prosecutors, and civil servants are not eligible for appointment, we deprecate a system that seems to give them prominence over private legal practitioners. The majority of appointees should be the practitioners who practice dailies before the courts to which appointment is being considered, and therefore would appear to have the more requisite experience. This concern has necessitated our call for a repeat of the NBA's call for the amendment of Rule 3.4 of the guidelines and procedural rules for the appointment of judicial officers of all superior courts of record in Nigeria, which empowers the Chief Judge as the Chairman of the Judicial Service Commission or Committee concerned to make a provisional shortlist on the merits consisting of not less than twice the number of judicial officers intended to be appointed at a particular time. This rule gives a lot of power to the Chief Judge as Chairman of the JSC and would appear to be used in a manner that may not always be merit-driven. We are of the view that processes that lead to the shortlist of candidates needs to be further reformed and made more transparent. The Chief Judge should not be solely responsible for preparing the shortlist. The general perception is that the appointment of judicial officer is influenced by politics. The mode of appointment should be such that more parties, especially independent parties, should be involved. The mode of appointment of judicial officers is therefore general principle. In the communique issued at the end of the Annual General Conference in Port Harcourt in 2011, the NBA observed there are a lot of legal practitioners in Nigeria who are not only honorable, patriotic, transparent, hardworking, and incorruptible, but also fit and proper for appointment to the bench and elevation to the but are bypassed on account of mundane considerations, especially the fact that they should allow those who have labored and suffered on the bench to benefit from such appointments, quote and unquote. After all, it is said that these private legal practitioners have been enjoying themselves. We opine that if it is indeed, it is based on connection as many believe it is, it can only lead to the involvement or interference by non-judicial or legal actors in the process. The involvement of politicians in the appointment will no doubt ultimately lead to interference by these individuals in the judicial process. Such interference will wrongly justified as a payment of favor. Persons selected for judicial office shall be individuals of integrity and ability with appropriate training or qualifications in law. Any method of judicial selection should safeguard against judicial appointments for improper motives. As we have pointed out repeatedly, the poor quality of appointments in the judiciary will be the bane of that judiciary. We therefore propose as follows. Those who apply for appointments as judicial officers to the High Courts, Federal High Court, NIC, should be subjected to written tests conducted by an independent board. The results of such an examination should be published within 6 hours of the completion of same. Presently, even though there's a written test, the results are never published. And it is never easy to say whether reliance was placed on the outcome of this result for the shortlist. Such an examination should not only test their knowledge of the law, but equally test their verbal and quantitative aptitude. Thus, the test should be structured in a manner that ensures the prospective judicial officers show their legal writing skills, comprehension, and legal reasoning skills. The judicial appointment process should be reformed to focus on skill, professional and technical ability in relation to integrity and personality. Appointments into the bench at whatever level must henceforth be predicated upon merit and concurrent recommendation from the bar. My lords, may we respectfully note that the bail process continues to be a tool of abuse of judicial power, oppression, unjust remands, overcrowding of the detention center, and delay in many courts in Nigeria. This abuse is best highlighted with order made by the Chief Magistrate Court last week, Obin and Jemanzi, for the remand of the Owerri Correctional Center of our colleague Chinedu Agu, after arraignment on charges alleging cyber stalking, criminal defamation, and incitement. Some judges and magistrates are increasingly becoming enablers of political oppression and suppression of dissenting views by remanding persons charged with alleged criminal defamation or cyber stalking under Section 24 of the Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015. Judges and magistrates increasingly deny bail when such charges of internet or online related offences are preferred against defendants despite the matters being ordinarily bailable. It is then worrisome that even though the law provides that a court may require a suspect or defendant to execute a bond with or without sureties for his appearance before a court, our courts rarely utilize such procedure. Rather, the bail process has been rendered very technical, time-wasting, and cumbersome. Sometimes court impose bail conditions that amount to denial of bail. At other times, they will impose a condition requiring the prosecutorial agency or some other third party to verify sureties before a defendant could be released on bail. This has led to allegations of extortion, abuse, and prolonged detention even after bail has been granted because of the deliberate delay in verifying such sureties. My lords, this has unwittingly also given the impression that justice is not served in such circumstances, but that the judges may have rather chosen to enable the unjust incarceration of citizens to say that which makes for saying that which makes somebody unhappy, uncomfortable. It is well known that the essence of bail is to ensure that the defendant attends court to answer charges that may have been brought against him. It is therefore worrisome why a court will refuse bail to a person charged with an offence that does not carry more than 3 years imprisonment upon conviction. Judges and magistrates who deny bail to defendants in such circumstances must know that the judiciary should not be seen under any circumstance to side with those who wish to silence criticism, dissent, and refuse to be held accountable. I need not remind us that when the government of Jimobodo charged Chief Atomwankwe, publisher with sedition, for writing a book in 1982 titled How Jimobodo Rules Anambra State, a book that seriously attacked Chief Jimobodo, then governor of old Anambra State, accusing him of corruption and tyranny, the Court of Appeal, in quashing his conviction by the High Court, held that sedition law, that is Section 50 and 51 of the Criminal Code, is inconsistent with Section 36 of the 1979 Constitution, now Section 38 of the 1999 Constitution, and therefore void, and the conviction of Atomwankwe was overturned. In the judgment of my Lord Honorable Joseph Olatawara JC, as he then was, in quashing that judgment, the citation is applied here. It is my view that the law of sedition, which has derogated from freedom of speech, guaranteed under this constitution, is inconsistent with 19th Constitution. More so when this cannot lead to public disorders under Section 41 of the 1979 Constitution. We therefore use this opportunity to call on the Chief Judges of the Federal High Court and the High Courts of the states and of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to exercise powers given to them by Section 187 of the ACJA and by the requisite provisions of the ACJL by making regulations for the registration and licensing of corporate bodies or persons to act as bondspersons within the jurisdiction of the court in which they are registered. We must make a commitment to ensure that the bail process is made in such a way that ensure that a defendant appears in court to face trial and same is not abused. We will not fail to use this opportunity to call attention and deprecate the stateful circumstance surrounding the hearing of the appeal filed by a colleague, Brighton, against his conviction by a magistrate court in Enugu State. The prolonged delay in determining the appeal gives an impression of a deliberate effort to ensure that his appeal is never heard. It is disturbing that the matter which initially reached judgment stage was truncated on the very day of judgment because the judge refused to deliver judgment and proceeded to recuse himself. Owing to the public outcry and a long delay in assigning the matter to another judge, the matter was adjourned assigned to another judge, who unfortunately, on the 23rd of September 2025, recused himself yet again. It is beginning to look as if there is a concerted effort to ensure that the appeal is ever heard, so that Shøçkiñg will serve the full term imposed on him by the court. If this is indeed true, then this is not the face of justice we want to present to the world. We wonder if the judiciary in Enugu State has become weak, unwilling to live up to the judicial oath to do justice to all men without affection of ill will. For how long shall we allow the cumulative effect of the violation of Mr. Ngene's right to fair hearing and timely hearing of his appeal? This is, to say the least, is a painful reflection of systemic delay.
No be small gombe o, my people, no be small thing. Make una come chook mouth put for inside this matter wey dey ground o, say omo, e don become national cake. Hey, my people, make una do well to subscribe to this channel. I still remain your humble girl Rekis. Na me dey bring una latest of all legit info. See you guys in my next upload. Bye.